Gordon clocks in around 6. He is late again, but his timesheets reflect a perfect record. He's setting out the patio chairs when he finds a clear plastic container with a whole rotisserie chicken inside. He leaves it there all day, waiting for someone to claim it. Gordon was brought home from the hospital with no name. He was referred to simply as the baby for 6 days until a moniker stuck. Gordon Lightfoot was a favorite of his mother, whose will usually won out in such matters. Gordon watches a movie about a man suddenly dropped into society after a lifetime spent in an underground cell. Taken in by a wealthy family, the man slowly learns to read, write, and speak. In his patchwork language, he describes the act of dreaming. It dreamed to me a desert. A curbside prophet is screaming nearby. The forest will push through cracks in the pavement and deer will return to the cities. Gordon doesn't know much about the world, but he doesn't think it will end in herbivores. That night it dreams to Gordon. He is a newborn in the arms of his mother, who stands on the bank of a rushing river. She carefully turns him upside down, gripping him by his ankles. She whispers words Gordon does not understand before submerging him in the water. Gordon wakes up in the middle of the night with a pain in his ankle. A man with wings sits in the high-backed wooden chair by the open window smoking a cigarette. His demeanor gives the impression he comes regularly. Gordon closes his eyes and pretends not to notice. Gordon has a new roommate. He moved in the night of March 18th while Gordon slept, pitching camp in the living room. He chain smokes indoors, ashes into the carpet, and buries his butts between the couch cushions. Aside from his aggressive smoking habit and the loud night terrors he vocalizes every night from the sofa, he is not altogether unpleasant to live with. He pays his rent a week early every month in the form of a cashier's check. He eats 2 large meals every day, but leaves cash for groceries consumed on the counter. He keeps to himself at home, but generally comes along when Gordon leaves the apartment. At first, this makes Gordon uneasy because his roommate has a pair of large black wings rooted between his shoulder blades. One would think such a sight would attract stares, but it always seems to go unnoticed. His roommate's name is Gabe. The two of them are out on a walk through the neighborhood. The sun has gone down, but the heat of the day is still reverberating off the asphalt. Gabe fishes around in the pockets of his dark jacket for his pack of Camels. You know, he says, Whitman was known to write anonymous positive reviews of his own work. Maybe you could try that. I don't remember asking you for advice. Gordon extends a light. Gabe bends over from his imposing height and puffs on his cigarette until the tip begins to glow. And bad reviews aren't my problem. A bad review would be a good sign at this point. They pass by a father talking on the phone while holding his son's hand. The father is built like a prehistoric cave bear, and the son's nose dribbles. In one motion, the boy wipes at his face and extends a snotty finger to point directly at Gabe. Daddy, it's Batman! Gabe promptly flicks his lit cigarette into the child's face and keeps walking. Sparks fly on impact, and the child is frozen in disbelief, but the father hangs up his call and immediately yells at Gordon, Did you just throw a fucking smoke at my kid? Gordon starts to deny it, but the fist is already in his face. There's a flash of bright light, and Gordon is picking himself up off the street. Gabe is standing over him, a replacement cigarette already dangling between his upturned lips. The father is gone, and the son stands there blinking. Months ago, Gordon was driving to the pharmacy when he spotted an overweight man running through front yards, naked but for a jeweled dog collar around his neck. Staring, Gordon drifted into a telephone pole. He made no effort to fight the ticket or replace the vehicle. He no longer drives, preferring to walk or take the bus in poor weather. Gordon is watching a man's murder on the news while cooking dinner. He hears a low growl emanate from the kitchen. He finds the oil in the pan is on fire, tall flames scorching the pale ceiling. Returning with a fire extinguisher, he sprays the stove top until the kitchen is covered in white foam. Never leave hot oil unattended, says the man with dark wings living in Gordon's apartment. The only bar within walking distance from Gordon's home is a dive called the Asphodel. He hates it there, but he doesn't like drinking by himself, so here he is, listening to strangers sing karaoke every Thursday night in an effort to stave off the solitude. He steps outside for a cigarette, flicking his lighter. An imposing flame leaps out of the little plastic thing. A man wearing headphones and a hoodie says, "I can hardly take it." Out for a midnight walk in an effort to escape the constant gaze of his winged roommate, Gordon is chain-smoking and deleting old and sentimental voicemails. Noticing a glare on his phone screen, he looks up at the night sky. It seems to be getting brighter. The air is taking on a flickering orange hue and growing heavy with the smell of smoke. Gordon rounds the corner, and the police precinct on Marcus Garvey Avenue is burning. Windows melt in their frames, and molten glass drips down the brick. The flames spread to the squad cars in the parking lot, and their gas tanks start popping like champagne corks. Gordon watches the building burn to the ground, hoping the fire department never arrives.